Hi, and welcome to this video of Dynamics 365 Talk, where I'll be talking about updates on the 2020 Release Wave 1. I have recorded 3 videos on the 2020 Release Wave 1 previously, but at the time that I recorded those videos, there were a few things that didn't work in my instance, meaning I couldn't really report on any of those. So some of these items have been fixed after working with support. So I wanted to do another video on those items. I also found another new feature, which I also wanted to share with you all. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Dion Taylor. I am a Microsoft Business Applications MVP, and feel free to check out my blog at d365goddess.com. Follow me on Twitter at d365goddess, or connect with me on LinkedIn by scanning the QR code. Now, here are some of the topics that I'm going to be discussing today. So we have the knowledge base search enhancement. And this is a separate area where users can search for and view knowledge base articles. Now, the problem that I was facing was that when I was searching for knowledge base articles in that particular area, it just wouldn't load. It looked like it was searching the database, but the screen just stayed blank. And I was having the same problem on the case record. So after a little bit of time, I got this crazy error that said, hey, please retry, and if the issue persists, please contact Microsoft support. So that's what I ended up doing, and I was able to get that resolved. Then I'm also going to talk about enhancements in the queue page and the configurable case resolution form. And then lastly, we're going to talk about search this view, which was that functionality that I found as well. So let's get started. Now, the problem that I was having was when I actually went to the knowledge search. So I would click on this, I would start searching articles and nothing would happen. So that actually was fixed. And if you are currently going through those preview, if you have that enabled, that early access preview, I just wanted to show you how you could fix this issue, because obviously my guess is Microsoft is going to have this fixed before, that actual rollout in April. So if you are currently, like I said, kind of trying to test all of these features, I wanted to show you how you can fix the problem that I was having. This was my issue. As you can see, it says here, sorry, there was an error loading the search results. Please retry, blah, blah, blah. So if that's the error that you're currently experiencing, you can actually fix this by clicking here on Advanced Settings. And then you can go to Settings and Administration. And then you just need to click here on System Settings. And I'm just going to scroll down here. I actually disabled relevant search, and then I left it disabled for 24 hours. And I did that because if you actually uncheck that box, it says that data in the external index will be deleted within 24 hours. So I just let it basically do that. And that fixed my issue. So again, my guess is Microsoft is going to have this all resolved before it actually is going to be rolled out in April. But now that I go in here, let me just search for travel. You can see it's very quick, right? It now pulls up that particular knowledge base record. And you can see here, I have my cute pictures in here. There's like links on here that works. So this is working perfectly right now. And if I go to my cases, just go ahead and open up a case here, and you'll see that the knowledge base in my cases is now actually working as well. And then I have some different options here, or some similar options. I can pop this out in a new window, and I can link it to the case and then send that content via email. And we have some additional options here, which we had before as well, right? We can send the article using that channel integration framework if we have that set up as well. So that's all good. That's all great. That's working now. Perfect. So the next item I wanted to cover was the enhancements in the queue pages. So I didn't really, maybe I didn't really know what these updates were exactly, but I kind of compared the navigation to from this instance to the old instance, so to speak, the prior, right, instance that does not have that 2020 release um, installed, or whatever you want to call that. And that's when I saw this. So I'm just going to say all items. So basically, if I go ahead and grab any of those, open any of those items, right, that are in that queue, I can just go ahead and click on that. And I see that I now have record set navigation, which I previously did not have, right? So now I can just go ahead and click on any other item that is in that particular queue by using record set navigation. And the next thing I want to talk about is the configurable case resolution form. When I try to enable this, I actually got this error, and it said the selected entity is read only for this client. So again, this was just in my instance where this was happening. I wanted to share this with you because, again, if you currently have that early access enabled and you have a similar issue, right, you get the same error, I wanted to be able to kind of show you why that error message popped up and then how you can resolve that. Now, unfortunately, I actually went and looked at my case resolution entity in this particular environment, and I saw that it was actually set to read only for mobile. So this was kind of weird. I'm not sure what happened, because all I did before enabling the 2020 release, those updates, the only thing I did was I made a copy of my production environment right into my sandbox environment. And actually, my production environment does not have that case resolution entity set to read only for mobile. And then after that, I opted in for early access. So I'm not sure what happened, but that's what happened. And then when I set the resolve case dialog to use that quick create dialog or the customizable dialog, I got that error. So that was a little frustrating, but I was able to get that resolved by just entering a ticket with Microsoft, and then they were able to resolve that, get rid of that flag. So from their end, so it was no longer read only for mobile. Now let's talk about the different options that you have when you're configuring this. Let's first go to where we can actually do this configuration. So I'm going to go here to service management, and then you see here we have service configuration settings. So I'm going to go over there, and then right here on the bottom it says resolve case dialog. So this is where we're going to be able to pick what we want the system to use the standard dialog. And the standard dialog is exactly that, right? It's that closed dialog box that we have seen from the beginning. So if you want to continue using that, then obviously you can just go ahead and pick that standard dialog. Now the customizable dialog is also kind of that pop-up type of form, right? Just like the standard dialog. But just like the name kind of is suggesting, we now have the ability to configure the form. We can add fields, we can remove fields, etc. So when you select this option, right, the system will use the information main form of the case resolution entity. So let me pull that up. And here we see that information form. Right, again, so now we can just go ahead and remove certain fields. We can move stuff around. We can add fields to it. Might even be able to create some business rules on that as well. So that is that form for that customizable dialog. And then lastly, let's go back here. We also have then, of course, the quick create dialog. So when you're using that guy, obviously, just go ahead and pull that up again. It's then going to use this quick create case resolution quick create form. So let me open that one up as well, so you can kind of see what that looks like, right? Again, we can just go ahead and configure those, but then it shows a little bit different on the case form. So let's go ahead and demo that. Right now it's the customizable dialog, of course. So let me go back here to cases, go back here to service, let me go to cases, and let's just go ahead and close this particular case. Let's hit resolve case. So again, this is that customizable dialog, right? You still get that pop-up type, right, of closed dialog box, but you can configure this, right? This is a completely configurable form. Now let's go ahead. We're going to discontinue those changes. Now let's go back here and let's configure that to actually use the quick create dialog. And let's go back here to my cases. And let's go ahead and again resolve that case. And as you can see, now it's pulling up that quick create form. So that's kind of the difference between those forms. And the last thing that I found, let me just go ahead and, cancel this, discard changes. The last thing that I found was an enhancement to Quick Find that's called Search This View. And that actually gives users the ability to perform a search in the currently selected view. So let's just go ahead here to contacts. And you can see here that it says search this view. I actually have this enabled, and I'll show you how to enable or disable this in a second. But what that means is that if I start searching, if I put a search term in here, it's actually going to search the view that I'm in. So I'm going to say my active contacts. Let me just actually find, first go ahead, go to active contacts, and let's just find somebody here. Let's do Crystal Robles, or whatever her name is. I'm seeing that she belongs to Rob, so okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and search for her. So if I go to all contacts, active contacts, I'm gonna search and it will find Crystal because she is in that list of active contacts. And you also see that the columns stay the same, right? It's not using the columns from that quick find. It's keeping those columns that are related to this view. Now, if I go to my active contacts and again, search for this particular person, you can see that now it doesn't find that person because she is not in this filtered list of my active contacts. Now, again, the way that you can turn this on, you can just go ahead and here again, go to advanced settings. Then we're going to let's just go here to administration and again system settings, and on the general tab you can see here use quick find of an entity for searching on subgrid. So because I have that set to no, it's using that functionality that I just showed you, which is called search this view. Now, I thought it was important to mention this feature because it's a big change, right, on how users are really getting their search results now, because they're used to, it doesn't matter which view I'm in, it's just going to search through whatever is that quick find view, and according to them, that's just active records, right? So this is going to change that behavior. So I would make sure that if you're going to implement this, to really make sure that you inform your users of this functionality, because if you don't do that, then you really risk people not realizing that they are searching a view that's already filtered, right? So like you just saw earlier, I was in a filtered view of my contacts, and this could be, right, my opportunities, my accounts, etc. So make sure that you mention that to your users as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a like, please. And hopefully I'll see you again for a new video next week. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.